Well, here is the model as I promised. It's blue and white, and the wings on the bottom have this line going across here at 45 degrees, and that's the only line on the bottom. The top of the wing has this wedge of blue here in the middle. Here's the tail fin, just a blue stripe at the bottom, and the fuse, which is blue on top and white completely on the bottom. Then I got a bottle of spray, a can of spray paint that sort of goes close enough to this blue colour. It's a little bit too bright, maybe not enough red in it, but you get what you use what you get, right? This was the closest I could get to it. Now the only thing left to cover is the tailplane. Here we are then. Here's the tail, and here's all the materials I'm going to use. I've cut the bits according to the design, and I've sort of grouped them. This is the white from on top. Here's the white for right and left on the bottom, and here are all the blue bits I'm going to use. The design is that here on top I'm going to have a blue wedge here in the middle, and on the bottom it's going to be white with two blue stripes going here at 45 degrees. Now here is the design. I've already drawn some lines here where the colour is going to change from white to blue and again to white, and very faint lines. These, even though they are this faint and you can hardly see them on the television, on the camera, even though they are this faint, they are still going to show through the white. So I'm going to put the white down first, and I'm going to overlap by 5 millimeters. So I make tiny lines here where the white is going to overlap the blue, and then the blue will cover these. There is one further line, and this is here, and this is where the fuselage begins, and I don't want to cover a lot over this line, maybe a millimeter or two. It's like when you're putting together an almost ready to fly, you have to cut away the covering in this area in order to glue down the tail into the model. It's the same thing here, but I'm not going to cut down. I'm going to not going to cover this part, even though it's probably easier to get one piece. I'm just going to go to this line. I'm going to cover this part here, the right side of the horizontal stabilizer. This is the right side because this is down, this is the bottom, so it flips over and it's on the right side. I'm going to fast forward while I'm doing it, and you just have to try and keep up. Here is the model completely covered, and what I have to do now is assemble the bits that should be glued together, like the tail and the control surfaces, both on the tail and the wing. Now what I'm going to do is make it certain that the tail is sitting in the correct place. I can take a few measurements to be certain about that. And I'm going to put tape on it that I can then remove after I've glued it in, so that any epoxy glue that squeezes out can be removed. And I'm also going to clean it up very well with some alcohol. Here I've got a lot of epoxy, which I'm now going to apply here, and then I will slide the tail in. Now I can wipe away any glue that is not inside the joint, as that is not contributing to anything except weight, of course. The tail fin now slips down here, and I'm trying to apply as much glue as I can. This is a square I made I cut the corner off so that I can check the tail. What I have to do now also is to remove the tape. If I don't, it'll just freeze stuck in the epoxy glue. Now I'm preparing to fasten the elevator to the stabilizer, and I do that by putting a piece of tape along the slot where the hinge is going to go, both here on the stabilizer and on the elevator itself. So this will make it much easier to clean up, and the elevator will be able to move as it's supposed to do. I also take the hinges and I put some petroleum jelly on the center so as not to glue that stuck like this. Here I've got some epoxy, and I've got a little wooden spatula that I made by sanding a stick, and I can push the glue into the slot, and then I place it so that it can just seep down into the slot. This I do both on the stabilizer here and on the elevator itself. Now the glue has had an opportunity to seep down into the slot, and I can wipe away anything that any excess glue. Doesn't have to be there, and it will cause trouble anyway if it's there. Now I take each hinge and I apply a little epoxy glue to both sides of each of the leaf, one leaf of the hinge, and put it down into the slot. Not a lot is needed, and a little goes a long way. Actually, it goes out of the slot. Now all the hinges are in place, and there is an excess of glue, so some tissue, and I wipe it away. Doesn't really have to do anything there, and in fact it will hinder the elevator from moving properly. Now I put some glue, just a little, on all the hinges where they are standing. And now I can slide this elevator onto the hinges. Notice I do this just for one control surface at a time. Now the control surface is in place, and I have to wipe away all glue that shouldn't be there. Now I can remove these little pieces of tape, but I have to be very careful because it is very possible that there is some epoxy on the tape which then could smear somewhere I don't want it.